Welcome, everyone. Ready to dive into some seriously strange stuff.
I hope so. We're going deep on a book called Lien Interview today.
Lien Interview. Okay, so what's the interview about?
Well, it's supposed to be like the actual notes and stuff from this Army Air Force nurse, Matilda O'Donnell MacElroy.
A nurse. Okay, what does a nurse have to do with aliens?
She claims she talked to an alien, get this, after the Roswell crash back in '47.
Roswell, that's the big one, right? Like the UFO everyone talks about.
Exactly. So we're talking potential alien contact like decades ago, but it gets weirder.
Weirder than aliens? How?
This Matilda, she waited like 60 years to tell anyone, sent it all to a book editor right before she died.
Wow. Okay, so let's get into it. What did she say happened in this interview?
Right, so the book says this alien named Airl wasn't just some random tourist. She was like an officer, pilot, engineer, the whole deal, for a group called the Domain.
The Domain, like what, their space empire or something?
Basically, yeah, like a massive network of these super advanced beings all over the galaxies.
So not your typical little green men in a flying saucer.
Nope, much more complex. This Airl, she wasn't here to invade or anything, just collecting data about our atmosphere, and boom, lightning strike, down she goes.
Lightning? Really? I thought aliens would have, I don't know, force fields or something?
You'd think, right. Maybe even advanced civilizations have their kryptonite. But here's where it gets wild. Matilda describes these beings using, get this, dull bodies.
Dull bodies? Like what, robots? Clones?
Kind of, but more like synthetic avatars. Not biological, don't need to eat, breathe, any of that. Controlled directly by thought from these beings called ISBEs.
ISBEs, what's that stand for?
Immortal spiritual beings. They're like pure consciousness.
So their minds aren't tied to a body like ours. That's heavy stuff. But hold on, how did Matilda even talk to this Airl?
According to her, it was rough going at first. Regular language didn't work, but then they got through using telepathy.
Telepathy, like mind reading? No way.
That's what she claims. Direct thought-to-thought communication. Makes you wonder what we're missing out on, right? And get this, Airl dropped a bombshell. She said Earth is a prison planet.
Wait, what? Earth? A prison? Like who's locked up here?
She said it's a prison for ISBEs, for our souls.
Our souls are in prison. That doesn't sound good.
No, it doesn't. And guess who's behind it all? This ancient civilization called the Old Empire.
Old Empire, so they're like the wardens of this prison planet.
That's the idea, and it gets worse. Airl says they wipe our memories before we get sent here, implant false memories, hypnotic commands, the whole shebang.
So we're born not knowing who we really are. Being controlled without even realizing it.
That's what the book claims. Raises a lot of questions about free will, you know?
Yeah, no kidding. So how do they keep us under control, this old empire?
Airl says they use hidden tech and they've, like, messed with human history and religions, all to keep us in the dark.
They sound pretty powerful. Why haven't they been stopped?
Well, the book says there's another group fighting against them, the Domain, trying to free the trapped ISBEs, like us.
So there's this whole cosmic war happening that we're clueless about.
It's a mind-blowing idea, isn't it? And Airl even says the Domain has tried to, like, wake people up.
Wake people up to what?
To the idea of ISBEs, our true nature. They supposedly influenced religions like Hinduism and early Christianity.
Huh, that's interesting. But what about, like, how the universe even started?
Right, well, Airl had something to say about that, too. She said the physical universe is a creation of ISBEs themselves. There's even this company that designs life forms.
A company? Like a cosmic design firm? That's crazy. What's it called?
The Arcadia Regeneration Company.
Okay, now this is getting out there. A company making life. What's next?
You're not going to believe this. Airl said sexual reproduction, the way humans and most life on Earth procreate, it's a trap.
Come on, how can sex be a trap? That's how we, exist.
Well, Airl says it's all about aesthetic pain. Like, the whole messy experience of living in a physical body keeps drawing our souls back in, over and over.
So we're trapped by, like, the desire to feel things.
Exactly. And that's just scratching the surface of this book. It's a wild ride.
No kidding. This Lien Interview is packed with wild ideas.
It really is. Aliens, the universe, reality itself. It makes you question everything. So yeah, that Lien Interview, it's definitely got us thinking, right?
Thinking is putting it mildly. I mean, is any of it even true?
Good question, right? How do you even start to figure out if a story like this is credible or not? It's like beyond belief almost.
Yeah, it's not like we can just fact check it on the internet. I mean, all we have are Matilda's notes. No videos, no photos, no other witnesses.
Right. It's her word against, well, everything we think we know. And that's a big hurdle, right? It all hinges on whether she was telling the truth.
And why would she wait so long to come forward? If it really happened back in 47, why not tell someone then?
Think about it. Back then, UFOs were like top secret stuff, Cold War paranoia, everyone afraid of communists and spies.
Yeah, I guess if you said you talked to an alien back then, they'd probably lock you up, huh?
Probably, or at least call you crazy and ruin your reputation. So maybe that's why she kept quiet.
But then why tell anyone at all? Right before she dies, she sends it to a book editor. Why not just take it to the grave?
Maybe she felt like it was finally time, like she had to get it off her chest, like a confession almost.
A deathbed confession about aliens. Yeah, that's intense.
Or maybe she thought the world was finally ready to hear it. Or maybe she just wanted to mess with everyone's heads from beyond the grave.
Okay, that's a little creepy. But even if we assume Matilda believed what she was writing, the content itself is pretty wild, right? Prison planets, memory wipes, companies designing life. It's a lot to swallow.
It definitely stretches the imagination, that's for sure. But, we really don't know that much about the universe. I mean, scientists are starting to say alien life out there is pretty likely.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big universe, right? Billions of galaxies, trillions of stars. Hard to believe we're the only ones.
Right. The odds are definitely in favor of something being out there. So if that's true, who's to say what those aliens might be like? Could be anything, really.
Yeah, maybe some are just blobs of energy or giant space whales or
Yeah.
something even weirder.
Exactly. We have no idea. So maybe a civilization like this domain isn't as crazy as it sounds.
But a prison planet, that's like a whole other level of weird, isn't it?
It is. There's no scientific evidence for it, but it's an idea that keeps popping up in myths, religions, even some philosophies.
Like, what's the point of a prison planet? Why would anyone do that?
Right. It's the big mystery. Airl doesn't give us a straight answer, but she does hint at it being like, a cosmic punishment?
Punishment for what? What did we do?
No clue. She doesn't say. Maybe it's like karma, playing out over lifetimes. Or maybe it's just something we can't even understand.
This is getting pretty deep, even for a deep dive. So Airl talked about this old empire manipulating us, right? But how?
Well, she pointed to specific events and people, like the sinking of Atlantis, the Roman Empire, the Knights Templar.
She's saying aliens were behind all that.
Well, she said they were influenced, at least. Like, the old empire was pulling strings behind the scenes.
Wouldn't there be some trace of them? Evidence of their technology or something?
Well, she talked about memory foil and stuff like that, but we've never found anything like it. At least not that we know of.
And Roswell. Didn't she crash there? You'd think there'd be some physical proof.
There are all these stories about weird materials they found at the crash site, but the government, they say it was just a weather balloon.
A weather balloon. Come on, everyone knows that's a cover-up.
Yeah, most people don't buy it, but what can you do? It's all classified, top secret, you know the drill.
So where does that leave us? We've got a wild story, a mysterious narrator, and no real evidence.
It's frustrating, isn't it? But that's what makes it so fascinating. The unknown, the mystery, it keeps us hooked.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground here. Alien encounters, prison planets, cosmic conspiracies. It's enough to make your head spin.
It is. It really makes you question everything. But that's what we're here for, right?
Yeah.
To explore these big ideas and see where they lead us.
So we spent the last 2 parts talking about this alien interview, and I gotta say, it's really got me thinking.
It's a lot to take in, right? Aliens, prison planets, memory wipes. It kind of throws everything we think we know out the window.
Yeah, like what's the point of it all? If we're these immortal beings, these ISBEs, and we just keep getting recycled, reborn, what's the purpose?
I think that's the question that keeps coming back, isn't it? What is the meaning of life, especially if it just keeps repeating?
Right, like if we're gonna forget everything anyway when we get sent back here to Earth, why bother doing anything at all?
Well, Airl's story suggests that maybe it's not about achieving things in the physical world. Like, it's not about money or success or fame. Maybe it's about something deeper.
Deeper, like what?
Like spiritual growth. Maybe each lifetime, each cycle, it's a chance to learn and evolve our consciousness, to become more aware of who we really are as these ISBEs.
So all this stuff we stress about, jobs, relationships, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things.
Maybe not. I mean, those things are important in our day-to-day lives, but if we're eternal beings, maybe the bigger picture is about something more than just our physical existence.
But hold on, if this old empire is manipulating us, wiping our memories, do we even have free will? How can we evolve if we're not even in control?
That's a tough one, right? It seems like Airl is suggesting that there's this constant struggle going on, like the old empire wants to keep us trapped in this cycle, but the domain is trying to help us break free.
It's like a cosmic tug of war for our souls, huh? But how can we fight back if we don't even know what's going on?
Well, maybe the first step is just becoming aware of the possibility, like questioning what we've been told and trying to see things from a different perspective.
So basically, we got to start thinking for ourselves, not just accepting everything at face value.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to challenge the status quo. Do your own research, ask questions, and trust your intuition.
It's like Airl's story is a wake-up call. Like, hey, there might be more going on than you realize, so open your eyes and pay attention.
Yeah, and maybe the most important thing is to remember that we're not powerless. Even if there are forces trying to manipulate us, we still have the power to choose how we react, how we think, how we live our lives.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm definitely walking away from this deep dive with a lot to think about.
Me too. Whether you believe Airl's story or not, it definitely gets you thinking about some big questions. The nature of reality, the meaning of life, the possibility of something beyond what we can see and touch.
It's a reminder that there's always more to learn, more to explore, and that the search for truth is a never-ending journey. So keep questioning, keep searching, and keep an open mind. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the strange world of Alien Interview. We'll see you next time.